Hello again, dreamer. Get comfy. Let the world fade away. Tonight, we travel to a forest that remembers every dream ever dreamed. Let's begin. In the sleepy town of Millbrook, nestled deep within the rolling hills of upstate New York, the year 1926 began much like any other. The town's residents moved through their daily routines with the predictable rhythm of clockwork, their lives governed by the steady chime of the Methodist church bell and the seasonal cycles that dictated both work and leisure. Yet beneath this veneer of ordinary existence, a crisis was quietly unfolding, one that would come to be known as the Great Pencil Shortage of 1926. The pencil, and most humble of writing instruments, had long been an unassuming staple in the lives of Millbrook's citizens. From the meticulous ledgers of Miss Thompson at the general store to the careful homework assignments of school children, pencils were as essential to daily life as bread or coal. They were there when Miss Whitaker calculated her grocery list, when young Tommy practiced his penmanship, and when the town council recorded their minutes. So ubiquitous were these graphite-filled wooden sticks that no one paid them much mind, until they began to disappear. It started subtly enough. In late February, students at Millbrook Elementary School began whispering about having to share pencils during arithmetic lessons. Miss Abernathy, their patient teacher, found herself doling out increasingly shorter nubs of pencils to her eager pupils. Across town at the bank, Miss Peterson noticed he was going through pencils twice as fast as usual, despite handling roughly the same volume of transactions. Even the local newspaper office reported difficulties maintaining their stock of pencils for reporters and editors. The first official acknowledgement of trouble came from Harold Pencil Jenkins, owner of Jenkins Stationery Emporium. On March 3rd, he placed a modest advertisement in the Millbrook Gazette. Due to unforeseen circumstances, our pencil supply is temporarily limited. We apologize for any inconvenience. The notice might have gone unnoticed if not for its placement directly beneath the weekly sermon summary, catching the eyes of the town's most devout readers during Sunday breakfast. What made the situation particularly perplexing was the complete absence of any obvious explanation. There had been no natural disasters disrupting supply lines, no major economic collapse affecting manufacturing, and no sudden surge in demand that could account for the shortage. The nation's largest pencil manufacturers, Eberhard Faber in New York City and Joseph Dixon Crucible Company in New Jersey, reported strong production numbers and smooth distribution channels. Yet somehow, in towns like Millbrook across the northeastern United States, pencils were vanishing at an alarming rate. As March wore on, the shortage intensified. School principals began rationing pencils among classrooms. Business owners implemented strict inventory controls. Housewives whispered about hoarding their remaining pencils in kitchen drawers. The town's normally placid atmosphere grew tense with frustrated curiosity. How could something so fundamental, so taken for granted, simply disappear without warning? In retrospect, the early weeks of the pencil shortage revealed something profound about human nature and society's relationship with everyday objects. People People had grown so accustomed to the reliable presence of pencils that their absence created a void far greater than their physical size would suggest. It wasn't just the inconvenience of finding alternative writing implements. It was the unsettling realization that even the most basic elements of daily life could prove surprisingly fragile. As Millbrook's residents struggled to adapt, they found themselves confronting questions about resource management, community cooperation, and the hidden complexities behind what they had always considered simple commodities. The pencil shortage, though seemingly mundane, had set the stage for a deeper examination of how societies function and sometimes falter when faced with unexpected challenges to their established routines. What began as a minor inconvenience was rapidly evolving into a test of community resilience, forcing people to reconsider their assumptions about stability and self-sufficiency in modern America. As April dawned, the pencil shortage transformed from an inconvenient mystery into a full-blown social phenomenon that touched every corner of Millbrook's community. At Jenkins's stationery emporium, Harold Jenkins found himself fielding increasingly desperate inquiries from customers who had exhausted their personal supplies. "I've got 3 children trying to finish their schoolwork," Miss Henderson pleaded one morning, clutching her worn pocketbook. "Surely you must have something." Her desperation was echoed by countless others, teachers, business owners, homemakers, each arriving with their own story of pencil-related hardship. The impact on education proved particularly severe. Miss Abernathy's classroom devolved into chaos as students resorted to sharing broken pencil stubs, their arithmetic exercises marred by smudged calculations and illegible figures. Principal Thompson issued a directive limiting pencil use to essential tasks only. But this merely shifted the problem elsewhere. Homework assignments suffered as students struggled to complete their work without proper writing implements, leading to declining grades and mounting frustration among parents. The high school's debate team canceled their regional competition after discovering they couldn't secure enough pencils for note-taking. Local businesses faced their own unique challenges. At the First National Bank of Millbrook, tellers developed elaborate systems for tracking and rotating their dwindling pencil supply. Miss Peterson instituted a strict policy of sharpening pencils only once per day, while loan officers resorted to using fountain pens for documentation, a switch that slowed processing times considerably. The town's burgeoning textile mill found itself unable to maintain accurate production records, leading to costly errors in inventory management. Even the local doctor's office struggled, with Doc Whitmore forced to write prescriptions on scraps of paper torn from old ledgers. The social fabric of Millbrook began to fray under the pressure of pencil scarcity. Neighbors who had previously shared gardening tools and baking supplies now eyed each other suspiciously, wondering if someone else had secret pencil stashes. The Jenkins family woke one morning to find their backyard shed had been broken into, though nothing was stolen except a box of half-used pencils. Miss Thompson at the general store reported several altercations between customers arguing over the last available pencil stubs. Social gatherings took on a new tension as people debated theories about the shortage's cause and possible solutions. Perhaps most telling was the emergence of a black market for pencils. Behind the closed doors of the Masonic Lodge, quiet negotiations took place as desperate buyers offered increasingly extravagant trades for even the shortest pencil stubs. Mrs. Peterson famously swapped her prized recipe book for a dozen nearly spent pencils, while young Tommy Brown traded his entire baseball card collection for a single, slightly chewed Ticonderoga number. These underground transactions spoke volumes about the value people placed on something they had previously taken completely for granted. The shortage also exposed deeper social divides within the community. Wealthier families could afford to purchase more expensive alternatives like mechanical pencils or fountain pens, while working-class households struggled to adapt. Miss Jenkins noted with concern how some children began skipping school altogether rather than face the embarrassment of having to share pencils with classmates. The local library saw a marked increase in visitors seeking books on penmanship and alternative writing methods, with many patrons lingering longer than usual, reluctant to return to their pencil-less homes. As spring progressed, the pencil shortage became more than just a practical problem. It evolved into a symbol of broader anxieties about modern life and technological dependency. Sermons at the Methodist Church began incorporating themes of self-reliance and gratitude for small blessings, while letters to the editor in the Millbrook Gazette debated whether society had become too dependent on mass-produced goods. The crisis served as a mirror reflecting Millbrook's values, priorities, and vulnerabilities, forcing residents to confront uncomfortable truths about their interconnectedness and mutual dependence. By mid-April, the town had settled into an uneasy routine of pencil conservation and creative adaptation. Some residents experimented with making their own writing implements from charcoal and twigs, while others invested in slate boards and chalk. Yet these substitutes never quite matched the convenience and familiarity of a simple pencil. The collective experience of deprivation fostered both resentment and remarkable ingenuity, as people discovered new ways to communicate, calculate, and create in the face of adversity. Through it all, the pencil shortage continued to weave its subtle influence through every aspect of Millbrook life, reshaping relationships and revealing hidden strengths and weaknesses within the community's social structure. As May arrived, bringing with it the promise of warmer weather and blooming lilacs, Millbrook's patience with the ongoing pencil shortage had reached its breaking point. Town Council President George Pemberton convened an emergency meeting at the municipal building, where representatives from various sectors of the community gathered to address the growing crisis. Seated around the polished oak table were Harold Jenkins, still bearing the nickname Pencil with increasing irony, Dr. Emily Whitmore, representing local healthcare providers, Principal Thompson from the school system, and Miss Peterson, speaking for the town's business community. Their mission was clear: determine the root cause of the pencil disappearance and develop immediate solutions. The investigation began with a thorough review of Millbrook's pencil supply chain, Jenkins provided detailed records showing that his orders to both Eberhard Faber and Dixon had been consistently filled, with regular shipments arriving at his store throughout the winter months. However, cross-referencing these figures with sales data revealed a startling discrepancy. The number of pencils sold accounted for less than half of the total received. This discovery led to the formation of a special committee tasked with auditing every business and institution in town that regularly purchased pencils. Dr. Whitmore spearheaded the medical community's contribution to the investigation, organizing a series of interviews with pharmacists and hospital staff. These discussions uncovered a pattern of unusual pencil usage in prescription writing and patient chart maintenance. While initial suspicions centered on possible hoarding by medical professionals, further analysis suggested a different explanation. The recent introduction of new pharmaceutical regulations had inadvertently increased pencil consumption in healthcare settings. The requirement for multiple copies of each prescription, combined with more detailed patient documentation, had quietly doubled the sector's pencil needs. Principal Thompson's team focused on educational institutions, conducting surprise inspections of classrooms and supply closets. Their findings painted a complex picture of pencil management in schools. While some teachers maintained meticulous records of pencil distribution and collection, others admitted to allowing students to take pencils home without proper tracking. A particularly troubling discovery emerged from the high school's art department, where dozens of pencils had been repurposed for craft projects without authorization. The investigation also revealed that substitute teachers, often unfamiliar with school protocols, frequently failed to collect pencils at the end of class sessions. Miss Peterson's business audit produced perhaps the most surprising results. Through careful observation of banking procedures, his team identified several efficiency problems contributing to excessive pencil wear. Tellers were using pencils to separate currency denominations during counting, resulting in rapid degradation of their tips. Additionally, the practice of using pencils to hold together stacks of documents, rather than paper clips or rubber bands, was causing unnecessary breakage. Similar patterns emerged in other industries, including the textile mill's use of pencils for marking fabric, and the post office's reliance on pencils for sorting mail. The most groundbreaking discovery came from an unlikely source, 12-year-old Tommy Brown, whose passion for science had earned him permission to assist with the investigation. Using his father's old chemistry equipment, Tommy conducted a series of experiments analyzing pencil shavings collected from various locations around town. His findings revealed significantly higher concentrations of certain minerals in samples from industrial areas compared to those from residential neighborhoods. This evidence suggested that pencils might be wearing down faster in environments with specific atmospheric conditions, potentially explaining part of the accelerated consumption rate. As the investigation progressed, a clearer picture of the shortage's causes began to emerge. Rather than a single catastrophic event, it appeared to be the result of multiple factors converging simultaneously. Increased regulatory requirements, procedural inefficiencies, environmental influences, and lapses in inventory control had all contributed to the apparent disappearance of pencils from circulation. While no evidence of deliberate hoarding or theft on a significant scale was found, the cumulative effect of these various factors had created a perfect storm of pencil depletion. The investigative team's findings sparked intense debate about how best to address the problem. Some members advocated for immediate implementation of stricter inventory controls and standardized usage protocols across all sectors. Others argued for more fundamental changes, such as revising certain administrative procedures to reduce pencil dependency. The discussion extended beyond practical solutions to encompass broader questions about resource management and community responsibility. As the meeting adjourned, it became clear that resolving the pencil shortage would require not just logistical adjustments, but a fundamental shift in how Millbrook approached the use and conservation of common resources. Through this comprehensive investigation, Millbrook's residents gained valuable insights into the complex web of factors affecting their daily lives. The pencil shortage, once viewed as an isolated problem, had revealed itself to be symptomatic of deeper organizational and cultural issues. The challenge now lay in translating these findings into effective action, a task that would require cooperation, creativity, and a willingness to embrace change across the entire community. The revelation of the pencil shortage's multifaceted causes triggered an unprecedented wave of community mobilization across Millbrook. Within days of the investigative report's release, residents organized themselves into various committees and work groups, each dedicated to addressing specific aspects of the crisis. The Women's Auxiliary Society, led by the indefatigable Miss Elizabeth Thompson, transformed their weekly sewing circle into a pencil conservation workshop, teaching participants innovative techniques for extending the life of their writing implements. Meanwhile, the Rotary Club launched a pencil awareness campaign, distributing informational pamphlets and hosting public demonstrations on efficient pencil use. One of the most remarkable developments was the emergence of grassroots innovation in writing technology. Local carpenter Jedediah Smith, inspired by historical accounts of pioneer-era writing tools, began crafting homemade pencils from locally sourced cedar and compressed graphite powder. His makeshift workshop in the old barn behind the Methodist church quickly became a hub of activity as volunteers learned to produce these rudimentary but functional alternatives. Though inferior to factory-made pencils in quality, these handmade versions provided crucial relief to desperate households and institutions. The success of Smith's initiative prompted similar efforts in neighboring towns, creating an informal network of pencil craftsmen exchanging techniques and materials. The school system responded with particular creativity, implementing what became known as the 3Rs+1 program: reduce, reuse, recycle, and rotate. Teachers developed lesson plans that minimized writing requirements, incorporating more oral presentations and group activities. Students learned to rotate pencils systematically during class periods, while older students mentored younger ones in pencil maintenance techniques. The high school's woodshop class collaborated with the art department to create reusable writing slates, which quickly gained popularity for temporary calculations and note-taking. Principal Thompson proudly reported that these measures had reduced the school's pencil consumption by nearly 40% within a month. Businesses adapted through a combination of technological innovation and procedural reform. At the First National Bank, Mr. Peterson introduced a revolutionary new system of document organization that eliminated the need for pencils in separating currency denominations. Instead, employees used color-coded trays and specialized counting boards designed by local inventor Arthur Whitfield. The textile mill adopted similar innovations, replacing pencil-based fabric marking with a new system of washable ink stamps. Even the smallest businesses found creative solutions. Miss Peterson at the bakery began using wax tablets for order tracking, while the hardware store implemented a pegboard system for inventory management. Perhaps most impressively, the crisis spurred the development of entirely new forms of communication and record-keeping. The local library became a center for experimental writing methods, hosting workshops on everything from shorthand notation to memory techniques. Young Tommy Brown, building on his earlier scientific investigations, developed a primitive form of carbon paper that allowed multiple copies of documents to be created without extensive pencil use. This invention proved particularly valuable for businesses and government offices requiring duplicate records. The town council itself embraced these innovations, adopting a hybrid system of verbal reporting supplemented by minimal written documentation. Thus, social clubs and organizations played a crucial role in maintaining community morale during the shortage. The Garden Club's pencil-free afternoons featured storytelling sessions and oral history projects, while the Men's Fellowship Group organized chess tournaments using specially designed boards that required no written notation. These activities not only provided welcome distraction but also helped preserve important social connections that might otherwise have frayed under the stress of the crisis. The Ladies' Literary Society pioneered a new form of book club meeting where members memorized and recited passages rather than taking notes, transforming their gatherings into vibrant performances of classic literature. The shortage also catalyzed improvements in existing infrastructure, recognizing the limitations of verbal communication alone. The town invested in upgrading its telephone system, installing additional lines and training operators to handle increased call volumes. This investment proved prescient, as businesses and households increasingly relied on phone communications to supplement their restricted written correspondence. The post office, meanwhile, expanded its telegraph services and introduced a new system of standardized codes for common messages, enabling more efficient transmission of information without pencil use. Perhaps most significantly, the crisis fostered a spirit of collaboration and mutual support that transcended traditional social boundaries. Wealthy families opened their homes for community meetings and workshops, while working-class residents shared their practical knowledge of resource conservation. The town's annual spring festival was transformed into a celebration of adaptive innovation, featuring exhibits of homemade writing tools and demonstrations of new organizational methods. This collective effort not only addressed the immediate challenge of the pencil shortage but also strengthened the bonds of community solidarity that would prove invaluable in facing future challenges. Through these diverse responses, Millbrook demonstrated remarkable resilience and ingenuity in adapting to the constraints imposed by the pencil shortage. The crisis had revealed hidden capacities for innovation and cooperation within the community, suggesting that the town's recovery would leave it stronger and more adaptable than before. As summer approached, residents found themselves equipped not only with new writing tools and techniques, but also with a renewed appreciation for the power of collective problem-solving and creative thinking. By late June, as the summer heat settled over Millbrook, the pencil shortage had begun to show signs of abating, not through any single dramatic intervention, but through the cumulative effect of numerous small victories and systemic improvements. The turning point came when the town council approved a comprehensive pencil management ordinance, incorporating many of the innovations and practices that had emerged during the crisis. This legislation established standardized protocols for pencil use across all public institutions, mandated regular inventory audits, and created incentives for businesses to adopt more efficient documentation method. Harold Jenkins' stationery emporium became a model of modern inventory management, implementing a sophisticated tracking system that monitored pencil distribution throughout the community. Each pencil sold was logged with a unique identifier, allowing for precise monitoring of usage patterns and loss rates. This data revealed that proper care and rotation could extend a pencil's useful life by up to 70%, leading to the development of community-wide pencil maintenance programs. Workshops on sharpening techniques and proper storage proliferated, while local businesses competed to achieve the highest pencil conservation ratings. The educational system's adaptations proved particularly enduring. Many of the 3Rs+1 program's innovations became permanent fixtures in Millbrook's schools. The homemade writing slates evolved into durable plastic versions produced by the high school's shop class, becoming standard equipment in elementary classrooms. Teachers reported that the emphasis on oral presentations and group activities had actually improved student engagement and comprehension. Principal Thompson's quarterly reports showed sustained reductions in pencil consumption, even as academic performance metrics improved across all grade levels. In the business sector, the efficiency gains achieved during the shortage translated into lasting operational improvements. The banking industry's new document organization system spread to financial institutions throughout the region, while the textile mill's washable ink stamp method became an industry standard. Perhaps most significantly, the crisis had accelerated the adoption of emerging technologies that reduced reliance on manual documentation. The town's first adding machine, purchased by the hardware store during the height of the shortage, inspired similar investments across local businesses, gradually shifting record-keeping away from purely pencil-based methods. The social innovations born of necessity during the crisis took root in Millbrook's cultural fabric. The garden club's pencil-free afternoons evolved into a popular community event series, while the men's fellowship group's chess tournaments attracted participants from surrounding towns. The Ladies' Literary Society's oral recitation format gained national attention, leading to invitations for members to perform at literary festivals. These activities demonstrated that the community had discovered valuable alternatives to traditional pencil-based interactions that enriched social life rather than constrained it. Environmental factors that had contributed to accelerated pencil wear were addressed through infrastructure improvements. The textile mill installed advanced air filtration systems that reduced atmospheric mineral content, while other industrial facilities implemented similar measures. These changes not only extended pencil life but also improved overall air quality. yielding unexpected health benefits for workers and nearby residents. The correlation between environmental conditions and pencil durability became a subject of study at the local community college, spawning new research initiatives in materials science. Most remarkably, the crisis had fundamentally altered Millbrook's relationship with common resources. Residents developed a newfound appreciation for the complexity behind seemingly simple commodities and the importance of responsible stewardship. The town established a resource management committee to monitor and optimize the use of other essential supplies, applying the lessons learned from the pencil shortage to prevent similar crises in the future. Educational programs incorporated units on sustainable resource use, ensuring that future generations would inherit both the technical knowledge and philosophical perspective gained through this experience. As the summer progressed, pencil supplies stabilized and eventually returned to pre-crisis levels. Yet the town didn't simply revert to its previous patterns of consumption. Instead, Millbrook emerged from the shortage with a more sophisticated understanding of resource management and a toolkit of adaptive strategies that would serve it well in years to come. The pencil, once an overlooked necessity, had become a symbol of community resilience and innovation, tangible proof that even the most mundane objects could inspire profound social transformation when their true value was recognized and respected. The Great Pencil Shortage of 1926 left an indelible mark on Millbrook's collective consciousness, transforming the town's approach to resource management and community organization in ways that resonated far beyond the immediate crisis. What began as a peculiar local phenomenon evolved into a profound learning experience that reshaped how residents viewed their relationship with everyday objects and their interconnectedness as a community. The pencil, once taken for granted, had revealed itself as a lens through which broader societal principles could be examined and improved. One of the most significant legacies of the shortage was the establishment of what came to be known as the Millbrook model of resource management. This comprehensive framework, formalized in the town's revised civic charter, emphasized proactive inventory tracking, community-wide education initiatives, and cross-sector collaboration in managing essential supplies. The model's success attracted attention from municipalities across the country, leading to invitations for Millbrook officials to present their approach at national conferences on urban planning and resource management. Within 5 years, elements of the Millbrook model had been adopted by over 200 towns and cities, demonstrating the far-reaching impact of what had initially seemed a localized problem. The crisis also catalyzed a cultural shift in how Millbrook residents approached problem-solving and innovation. The town's experience had proven that necessity truly was the mother of invention, as evidenced by the proliferation of homemade writing tools, alternative communication methods, and efficiency-improving systems that emerged during the shortage. This spirit of practical creativity continued to thrive long after pencil supplies normalized, manifesting in various community initiatives. The annual Innovation Fair, launched in 1927, became a showcase for local inventions and process improvements, ranging from agricultural tools to household conveniences. Several of these innovations found commercial success beyond Millbrook's borders, establishing the town as a hub of grassroots ingenuity, Perhaps most importantly, the pencil shortage fundamentally altered Millbrook's social dynamics, fostering a level of community cohesion and mutual support that persisted long after the crisis ended. The experience of collectively facing and overcoming adversity had broken down traditional social barriers, creating networks of cooperation that transcended economic and social divisions. Monthly community meetings, originally organized to address pencil conservation, evolved into forums for discussing and solving other municipal challenges. This collaborative approach proved particularly valuable during subsequent economic downturns and natural disasters, demonstrating the lasting strength of the social capital built during the shortage years. The educational sector underwent a particularly transformative evolution. The innovations developed during the crisis permanently changed teaching methodologies and administrative practices. The emphasis on oral communication skills, group collaboration, and alternative assessment methods enhanced educational outcomes while reducing resource dependency. The 3Rs+1 program expanded into a comprehensive curriculum on sustainable living and resource management, producing generations of students attuned to environmental and social responsibility. Alumni of Millbrook schools became ambassadors for these principles in their professional and personal lives, spreading the town's values far beyond its geographical boundaries. Economically, the pencil shortage had unexpectedly positioned Millbrook as a leader in efficiency and innovation. Local businesses that had successfully navigated the crisis emerged stronger and more competitive, having streamlined operations and adopted forward-thinking practices. The town's reputation for resourcefulness attracted new enterprises and investments, particularly in the manufacturing and service sectors. Several companies established research and development centers in Millbrook specifically to tap into the town's culture of practical innovation, creating new employment opportunities and stimulating economic growth. On a broader societal level, the Great Pencil Shortage served as a case study in the vulnerability of modern communities to disruptions in their supply chains, regardless of how trivial the affected commodity might seem. Scholars and policymakers studied Millbrook's experience to understand how seemingly stable systems could be upended by unexpected challenges and how communities could build resilience against such threats. The town's successful navigation of the crisis provided valuable insights into crisis management, resource allocation, and community mobilization that informed disaster preparedness strategies nationwide. The psychological impact of the shortage also proved significant and enduring. Residents developed a heightened awareness of the fragility underlying modern conveniences and the importance of maintaining basic skills and knowledge. This awareness manifested in various ways, from increased participation in community workshops to greater emphasis on teaching practical skills to children. The town's annual Self-Reliance Day became a celebration of these values, featuring demonstrations of traditional crafts, resource conservation techniques, and emergency preparedness skills. Looking back from the vantage point of decades later, it became clear that the Great Pencil Shortage had served as a catalyst for Millbrook's transformation from a typical small town into a model community characterized by innovation, cooperation, and resilience. The crisis had revealed the potential for even the most mundane challenges to spark profound social change when met with determination and creativity. The pencil, once merely a tool for writing, had become a symbol of human ingenuity and community strength, reminding future generations that the most significant transformations often emerge from the most unexpected circumstances. The Great Pencil Shortage of 1926 stands as a testament to the profound insights that can be gleaned from seemingly mundane historical events. That initially appears as a trivial disruption in the supply of a common writing implement, reveals itself, upon closer examination, to be a rich tapestry of human behavior, social dynamics, and community resilience. This episode demonstrates that historical significance cannot be measured solely by the apparent magnitude of events. Rather, it lies in their capacity to illuminate fundamental aspects of human society and progress. The pencil shortage's greatest value as a historical case study lies in its ability to expose the complex interdependencies that underpin modern civilization, defining how the absence of such a basic tool affected everything from education to commerce to social relations. We gain a deeper understanding of how societies function and adapt. The crisis revealed how deeply embedded certain technologies become in our daily lives, to the point where their removal forces fundamental re-evaluations of established practices and assumptions. This insight extends far beyond pencils to encompass all the seemingly insignificant elements that collectively sustain our way of life. Moreover, the shortage illustrated the remarkable capacity for human ingenuity when confronted with unexpected challenges. The innovative solutions developed by Millbrook's residents, from homemade pencils to new communication methods, demonstrate how constraints can catalyze creativity. This pattern repeats throughout history, suggesting that progress often emerges not from planned advancement, but from necessity-driven improvisation. The pencil shortage provides a microcosm through which to study this universal human trait, offering valuable lessons about adaptability and problem-solving that remain relevant in contemporary society. The event also highlights the importance of community response mechanisms in times of crisis. Millbrook's experience shows how local leadership, citizen initiative, and institutional cooperation can combine to address challenges effectively. The town's successful navigation of the shortage offers a blueprint for community resilience that transcends its specific historical context. Modern societies facing their own crises, whether environmental, economic, or technological, can draw valuable insights from Millbrook's systematic approach to problem solving and resource management. Furthermore, the pencil shortage exemplifies how historical events often carry significance beyond their immediate impact. The institutional changes and cultural shifts that emerged from this crisis, from improved inventory management practices to enhanced community cohesion, demonstrate how small-scale events can trigger large-scale transformations. This dynamic suggests that historians should pay attention to seemingly minor occurrences, recognizing their potential to reveal broader patterns and processes in social evolution. The Great Pencil Shortage also serves as a reminder of the value in documenting and preserving all aspects of human experience, not just those deemed historically significant at the time. Future generations studying this period might overlook such an event if not for the detailed records kept by Millbrook's residents and institutions. This underscores the importance of comprehensive historical documentation, as seemingly inconsequential events can later prove to be windows into important societal trends and transformations. Ultimately, the pencil shortage of 1926 teaches us that historical significance is often inversely proportional to perceived excitement. The most profound insights into human society frequently emerge from the examination of everyday experiences and commonplace objects. By studying how people responded to the absence of pencils, how they adapted, innovate, and ultimately thrived, we gain a deeper understanding of human nature, social organization, and the fundamental processes that drive historical change. This case study reminds us that even the most boring historical events can yield fascinating revelations about the human condition when approached with curiosity and analytical rigor.